Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Trouble Free. In today's video we are going to learn about double entry bookkeeping in the subject of managerial economics and financial analysis. In this video you will be learning about what are the different kinds of accounts we have and what are the rules of writing entries in those kind of accounts, and also along with examples. Okay, so if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, do subscribe and share it with your friends. And now let's quickly get into the video and pay 100% attention towards the video, because this concept is gonna be a little tricky, but still it is very interesting if once you understand that, right? The only thing that you have to remember is the three rules. You'll have three rules for three types of accounts, and you have to remember those rules, and you have to keep on applying those rules as you go on, right? So now let's get into the video. First, before starting the video, let me tell you, before starting to tell about type of accounts, let me tell you what do you mean by double entry. See, you'll have two types. You'll have single entry and you'll have double entry. When you are writing the entries related to accounts, you'll have two types: single entry bookkeeping and double entry bookkeeping. So now we will learn about double entry bookkeeping. In double entry, this double means two, right? So it has two aspects. Number one is credit and number two is debit. That means for every debit transaction there will be a credit transaction. For every credit transaction there will be a debit transaction. Okay, simply credit or simply debit will not exist. Both of them will exist for each and every transaction. That is what double entry bookkeeping says us. Okay, and next, what are the rules of double entry system? So actually we have three types of accounts, right? Personal account, real account and nominal account. And this real account is also called as permanent account, right? And this nominal account is called as the temporary account. Okay, so personal account, real account and nominal account. As we have three types of accounts, for each and every account we will have different rules. Okay, first let us learn about personal account. First, what do you mean by personal account? Personal account is an account which is related to a single person, or you can say or bank or any trust, so which belongs to them, which belongs to us, which is ours, which we use for our personal things and all, is called as a personal account, right? So under this personal account, the rule that you're having is debit the receiver and credit the giver. So whoever is the receiver, that means the person who is getting money is the receiver, right? So this receiver's account should be debited and the giver's account should be credited. Okay, see, for example, you have to remember this. Nobody can help you, nobody can prevent you from remembering this. This is a main thing that you have to remember. For each and every account you'll be having the rule. You have to remember that rule for sure. Okay, so now cash paid to Raju is rupees 500, right? Here, who is the receiver, who is the giver? We have to find out first. Cash paid to Raju, that means we are paying money to Raju. That means Raju is the receiver, right? This is what we have got a clarity over this. Next, cash, what is being paid? Cash is the giver, right? So what we have to write, Raju account should be debited, because debit the receiver. So Raju account debtor, so you have to write it as DR, that's okay, to cash account. This means credit. So in the second line we are writing about credit. Okay, in the first line we are writing about debit. So whose account is being debited? Raju's account is being debited. Why Raju's account is being debited? Because he is the receiver, paid to. We are paying to Raju. That means he is getting the money. So he is the receiver. So his account should be debited according to the rule. So Raju account debtor to cash account. Okay. Next, amount received from bank is rupees 10,000. So here what you have to write? Amount received from bank is rupees 10,000 is given, right? So here we are receiving 10,000. 10,000 is being received, right? It is being received. That means this will become the debtor now. Okay, that means nothing but the cash, the amount will become the debtor, which means that cash account debtor to, and who is the credit, credit will be given to, when this is the debtor, obviously from the bank. Who is giving the money? Bank is giving the money, so bank will be the giver, so obviously credit will be done to the bank, to bank account. And what is the money? That is 10,000. This is the receiving side, right? So that is why it is being debited. Cash account debtor to bank account, right? Why did we write like this? Because of the rule, debit the receiver and credit the giver. Okay, next. So this is about personal accounts. We have still real accounts and also nominal accounts. And guys, I'm telling you again, if you like, this is a bit tricky, really this is a bit tricky. I was also confused when I was learning this topic, but now I have a clarity over it. Because and still one more thing, if you're still not able to understand this, let me know in the comment section. I will definitely make another video about this also if you are not able to understand this, because I understand, because I tried it for 2 times, then I learned it, seriously saying. So if there is any problem in understanding this, let me know in the comment section, right? So this is in the case of personal accounts. So the next we have is the real accounts. So now let us see what happens in the case of real account. And the next is the real account. So, and real account is also called as permanent account. I said, I'll tell you why. So what are the accounts that will come under real accounts are the asset accounts. You'll have assets in your company, right? Those accounts, your liabilities accounts, and your stakeholders accounts also will come under this real accounts. Okay, and this real accounts are also called as permanent account because the balance is not closed. The balance is not closed every year. At the end of the year, whatever the balance they get from accounts, that will be not closed. Okay, and this balance will be used as an initial amount, like this will become the beginning balance of the next year or the next period, we can say, right? It may be a quarterly period, or it may be a half yearly period, or it may be an annual period, whatever it is, the ending balance will not be closed. This will become the beginning balance for the next cycle. Okay, so that is the reason why it is called as permanent account, and that is not our topic. Our topic is about rule and how to write the entries, right? So what is the rule that we have? Debit what comes in. So whatever is coming inside, we have to debit that, and credit what goes out. Whatever is going out, that has to be credited. Okay, so yeah, first, purchased machinery of rupees 25,000. See here what is happening. Machinery is a asset, right? Machinery is a asset. So as it is as we are discussing about an asset, that will come under real account. So now what is the rule that we have to apply to real account? What comes in, that has to be debited, right? So now what is coming in? Machinery is coming in. As a result of buying machinery, you are paying 25,000 to somebody else, right? So 25,000 is going out from your company, and in this place a machinery is coming inside your company. So whatever is coming in, that has to be debited, right? So first you have to write machinery account debtor, and what is being credited now, what is going out, that has to be credited, right, to cash account. Okay, understood? So machinery is coming inside your company and cash is going outside your company to some vendor who is selling this machinery, right? So as this is going out, this is credited, and as this is coming inside your company, this has to be debited. Okay, next, sold furniture rupees 50,000. So here what is happening? Sold furniture. Sold means you are sending the furniture to somebody else, right? You are sending the furniture out of your company, rupees 50,000, and when you sold the furniture, you got rupees 50,000 as an price for the furniture. So 50,000 is coming inside your company, right? So as the cash is coming inside, the cash has to be debited, because debit what comes in according to real account rule, right? So whatever is coming inside, the cash is coming inside, right? So cash account debtor to furniture account, okay? Because furniture is going out of the company. As it is going out of the company, according to the real accounts rule, it has to be credited. So to furniture account, right? Understood? This is how you will write a double entry journal in the case of real accounts. Okay, I'll explain you what is journal and with an example in the next video. Don't worry. So this is in the case of real accounts. Understood? So far we did personal account. When what was the rule in personal account? Debit the receiver and credit the giver. And in the case of real account, what is the rule? Debit what comes in and credit what goes out. I hope this is also very clear for you. But still, if you're not able to understand, let me know in the comment section. I'll make a video one more time and I'll try to explain it with more clarity if possible. Right, now let us go into the third type of account, which is a nominal account. Okay, yeah, here we go with nominal account, and nominal account is also called as temporary account. And what are the things that will come under the nominal account are your income, loss, gain, and your expenses. Okay, all these things will come under your nominal accounts, and these are the temporary accounts, right? And now what is the rule for this nominal account is, if you are having any expenses or losses, that has to be debited. Any income or gain, that has to be credited. Okay, debit expenses or losses and credit income and gain. If you are getting income or gain, then credit. If you're getting expenses or losses, then debit. Okay, so now let us see examples how to write double entry journal. Now rent paid rupees 15,000. So here rent is a expense, right? Rent is an expense, so expense has to be debited. So what has to be debited now? Rent account has to be debited. Rent account debtor to, and 15,000 is cash, right? To cash account. So right, now why we are debiting rent? Because rent is an expense. Expenses or losses, if you face them, that has to be debited. And what is the other thing that we have remaining? 15,000, which is nothing but cash, so that has to be credited to cash account. Right, now discount received rupees 400. So you received a discount of rupees 400. Suppose the cost price of any good or any machinery was rupees 1000 rupees, let us suppose. When you received a discount of 400 rupees, you have actually paid rupees 600 only for it, right? So but what actually you are supposed to pay? 1000 rupees, but because of discount you just paid 600 rupees, which is indirectly saying that this discount is your income, right? So that came into your company, that did not go out of your company, right? So as this is the income, that has to be credited. So if your income is to be credited, then what has to be debited? The cash has to be debited, right? So cash account debtor to discount account. Okay, this is how you have to write the journal for this. Okay, so yeah, that's all for this video. I hope this video was useful for you. I hope you guys understood what I explained in the video. I know it is a bit tricky, but still, you know, for the first time when I tried to learn it, I did not learn it with a lot of concentration. I just casually watched some videos on YouTube. I just casually referred some notes. But the second time when I concentrated on it, it was very easy for me. So learn and listen with concentration. If possible, when I am explaining the things, when I am writing the things, try to do it parallelly with me, so that it will be like it will be very easy for you to remember. And that's all for this video, guys. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have understood whatever I've explained in this video clearly, hit the like button and share it with your friends. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, do subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you can receive the notifications whenever I post a video. And if you guys want me to include any other subjects or any other topics, let me know in the comment section. I will do, if I can, I'll try to do. And yeah, if you have missed out the previous videos of this managerial economics and financial analysis, I'll give you the link in the description. You can check out from there and you can listen to the previous videos as well. And if you want to contact me through email or through Instagram for any notes or for any personal queries, I'll give you the links in the description. You can contact me through my mail ID or through Instagram, and let me know what are the next videos I'm supposed to you want me to do. And feel free to give your views, opinions and suggestions in the comment box so that I can understand what you guys are feeling about the video. If you understood, comment that we understood. If you did not understand, comment that we are not able to understand. If I'm going so fast or if I'm going so slow, anything, I'll be accepting it, guys. And thank you for watching the video, and hoping your support will be continuing like this. And let us meet up in the next video.